There are some concepts guys get confused about, like negs, IOIs, shit testing, peacocking, and DHVs. Let's go through them one by one. So, first one, negging has often made it into popular culture and tends to be associated with you. It is sometimes viewed quite negatively. Do you think there's truth in this, or is it just the nature of the topic, or is it just used the wrong way?
Well, I defined the neg. A neg is a statement or action to briefly disqualify oneself from being considered a potential suitor. That's what it is. Now, what you'll read online are the negs of the neg. People who have a problem with negging, not realizing that it is flirting, they will think of it as insulting, which is incorrect. An insult makes a person feel bad. A neg makes a person feel comfortable that you're not hitting on them. You know, if I say you're on the fence, I create that frame that you're on the fence. I just say you're on the fence. What? There's a fence? Yep, then you're on it. You can come or go. I don't know which way you're going to fall, but you're on the fence right now. I'm much more likely to be accepted by the group for having created a barrier to reaching to me. You know, you're on the fence right now. It's just a frame, but it sets the standard of my interaction that I'm not trying to get something from them. In fact, I've said this before, there are two frameworks or narrative arcs that you can choose from in pickup. Either you're the man picking up the girl, or the girl is picking up the guy. Ice, which one is more suited to your ways? Which do you prefer?
I
Would you prefer a
prefer the
woman,
second one. I prefer her seducing me, but that would be too easy, right?
right? Well, no, it's not too easy at all because you have to structure the opportunity to be pursued. And how do you do that before you have attraction? So you have to attract the woman, you know, demonstrate a higher value for a good 5 minutes, and then move off into qualifying your woman of interest. It has to happen in phases, right? And when you get good at meeting the objectives of the phases, you get good at pickup. You know, there's only four main phases to pick up, and then you're off into mid game and then end game. And the first four phases are A1, open, A2, demonstrate higher value, neg to primer to want to qualify, A3, qualify her, and then move her into a sit down situation where you can then build comfort with her in C1. That happens over and over and over and over again. And every set is different because people are different. Your material may be the same, but the sequence that you run them will be different. The reactions to your gambits will always be different. So it always feels new. It's a lot like a magician learning a whole series of magical effects and then being able to unleash their magic on unsuspecting crowds of people and create shock and awe. You can do that as a pickup artist without magic. You can do that with storytelling. You tell stories, convey your personality, and convey high quality characteristics of a male, of an alpha male. And you'll start getting indicators of interest from her. She'll start showing interest. And that's what we want to do. We want to elicit IOIs from the girl, not just go in and hope she likes us. And if not, oh well, we just move on. Do something to make her find you attractive. One of the things you can do is share in socializing. You say to her, come on, let's go make some friends. And that's a reason for her to pursue you because you roll off as you open up the next set, you know, with her nearby. The next set will open up much easier because you've got girls with you, or at least one girl, right? Better game plan.
I'll say this too about the neg, because the neg is what, led to this sequence here. Women are masters of negging. They just don't call it negging.
Yeah, they're shit test.
I'm interested now. I was going to ask about IOIs in the sense that Like people tend to think of it as you're waiting for her to drop a hint. And you got some guys take it to the extent where they don't really get the hint, they don't really take the hint, or they wait for a certain amount of hints. But if you're able to facilitate, set up the game so that she's giving you those IOIs in the first place, you're designing your game so she gives you those, then that's a
Mhm.
great way to go instead of just like la di da and then wait for her to uh show some interest in you.
If you can demonstrate a willingness to walk away in your open, using a false time constraint, FTC, another acronym, another glossary term. False time constraints create comfort. When you say, I can only stay a second, I've got my friends here, and then continue your gambit that you're running or your opener, that breeds comfort. It makes her feel comfortable with your presence, that you're not going to stick around uncomfortably like a beggar. Ask for change, you say no, and he sticks around. Ugh, horrible, right? Well, we don't want to come off as a beggar. We don't want to be the one chasing. We want to present our best selves and put ourselves in front of a woman and have her choose us. It's the better narrative arc to choose from. Now, in reality, it's going to be a bit of both because a woman likes to be pursued too when she's interested. So there comes a time for it, but don't pursue her on the open before she's earned it. Just because she's beautiful is not enough reason for you to start putting your arm around her waist.
Mm.
Yeah, when you open direct, you're making her decide if she wants to spend a few minutes with you. You open with, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. She has to decide in that moment to continue the conversation. If she doesn't shut you down right away, she's going to be in for a few minutes of conversation and potentially longer. So that's often why when you open direct, it's a make or break thing. She's being forced to decide in that moment with her friends around, assuming you're doing a group approach, which most of the time they're in a group. Isn't it better to open indirect and demonstrate a little personality, allow them to get a feel for you, a little acclimation, get some IOIs, and then reciprocate?
If you need examples, if you need examples of openers, I've written a book called Hey Guys. It's a book of 60 plus openers. You only need 5 for a good night, right? You need to stack openers. If you open and it doesn't open, you don't just give up, son. You got to stay in there. You got to stack forward, change the topic quick, and say, oh, by the way, did you see the fight outside? The two girls fighting? Or did you know that the Titanic didn't sink? Those are 2 openers that I use frequently. Another opener is nothing can wreck this day. My friends and I, we conducted a caper, a project, and now that it's over, we are celebrating like the end of the movie Ocean's 11. Nothing can wreck this day. I'm so grateful. That's an opener. It's called a statement opener. It's also a current emotional state opener, conveying my current emotional state of non-needy, non-threatening, and playful. All on the open, right? I'm non-needy. This is the good spellcraft.
Can we clear up once and for all what constitutes a shit test and what it means?
Ablaze, you want to score this front?
Yeah, I think I have a little bit of a different take on it. I mean, the shit test is essentially the idea that women will often test a guy to see if he's man enough to hang in there, right? So you open the conversation and you get a little bit of dismissiveness. Do you crumble? Do you put your tail between your legs and, wander off? Or do you stick in there and throw a little playful sarcasm back at her, right? Women can do this consciously or subconsciously, is the theory behind the shit test. Here's my thing. I can deal with a little bit of shit testing off the open, but I'm not the guy that sits in there and goes to battle. I will occasionally, if I'm in the right mood, and I can be in the right mood, and if the woman is particularly attractive, I may do battle, but and I'm very good at it too. I might add, if I want to do battle with a girl that's shit testing me, I can shit test right back at her.
That's
But
that's the
I,
point, is being able to shit test them before they shit test you. You know,
so
we're playing the prop.
here's the funny thing though, there are women that will almost give you like a false shit test, if you will, where they're actually trying to be, for lack of a better term, as Mystery said, she's actually being a prick, you know? And then when I do battle with her, it can escalate, you know? So, I mean, I like to be positive. I like to go in generally with positivity, with a little bit of sarcasm and a little cheekiness and a little neg, you know? But if a woman shit tests me too hard, she loses me. That's me, personal preference. But I can do battle and overcome shit tests. Oftentimes, the best way to overcome a shit test is to do nothing, to just hold your frame, to ignore it. You know, woman gives me a little attitude off the open, and I act like I didn't even hear it. You know,
See, I've learned.
micro calibration is a key to overcoming the shit test as well. Sometimes you'll open a group, and one woman in the group will jump in and offer a shit test. And it's as simple as a tiny little shift in my body language, and that negative energy just rolls off me, you know? So a lot of nuances there to the shit test. But I'm going to say this, I just personal preference. I don't like the shit tests, you know, be nice. Why can't women just be nice? I mean, I know that it helps ward off certain guys, you know, so they'll put that front up to feel out the true men or whatever from the weaker men, but I don't know. I don't like to live in that headspace. It's not for me.
Yeah, see, the thought that came up just a moment ago was I have learned negging from women. Women create congruence tests, not shit tests. They're congruence tests. They want to see if you're congruent with what you say, the person you say you are, versus the person you are behaviorally demonstrating, right? That's a congruence test. If you say that women find you attractive, well, where are they, right? You should be merging sets, for instance. You need to demonstrate value physically too, not just through your words, like being a leader of men. You know, if I have my wingman come up and introduce me to two girls he's just met, and I'm talking with the girl, and he says, "Have you met Mystery?" I'm all of a sudden Mystery to the girl I've just met. You know, who is Mystery? Why is his name Mystery? It's just enigmatic. No one else out there is calling himself Mystery. They just have regular names. There's something different about this guy, right? And that's a start. That's a start to being remembered, is being different, being unique, wearing unique clothing, having unique style, having unique sound bites to open with and to demonstrate your personality with. Your stories should be unique to you. Now, if you need to learn other people's stories to learn what a good story is, that's why I recommend the Hey Guys book, which is available, by the way, at askmystery.com. So we can catch everybody up to speed on openers immediately by reading that book. 60 plus openers, it's more than enough to handle a myriad of approach scenarios. That takes care of opening, and the approach anxiety is reduced dramatically when you know your opener.
Is peacocking still relevant? Have you had any new insights on it since the game and the mystery method? We all know about your crazy goggles and your hats, which when people think of mystery, they think that crazy hat and stuff like that. Oh, a version of it maybe. Um,
A little bit of style,
well, there you go.
right?
Like Neil
There,
Strauss style.
peacock. That's
But
it. I'm now peacocked. Uh, you're not going to get rid of tattoos. Tattoos are not going away. There are millions of women with tattoos, and they're hot. Not just the tattoos, the women, and I'd like to meet them. So they're not, you know, they're not going away.
Hmm. What kind of peacocking can you recommend to the guys watching? It's like there are so many things, but
Create an avatar from top to bottom that stands out, that looks unique, identifiable as its own. Like if you're playing a video game like Fortnite, my son, who's 10 years old, plays Fortnite. He's too young to play it, but he plays it anyway. And there's different skins that you can download for your main character. Pick a skin, son. Pick a skin. Pick a look from top to bottom. Create it, right? This is from the show, by the way. A little bit of peacocking.
yes.
That's right.
What is the name of that? The Master Pickup Artist badge or something?
That's right. Master Pickup Artist badge.
The medallion.
This symbol is a cup spilling its contents out on its side. That's what that means. It's a cup on its side, and it represents secrets revealed. Simple. It's a Germanic Foucault. It's a Germanic rune from the alphabet, the Foucault
Yeah,
of runes, Germanic runes.
this is pretty
A
funny.
little mysterious. It's mysterious. Much more interesting to have something unique. I mean, this was made to have something unique that you can comment on. And there's history involved with this as well. The winner of the show gets one, right? Cosmo has one, as well as the winner of season 2, which I won't say, so people can review that show and be entertained by guessing who's going to win season 2.
Since I
I'd like
spoiled the
to
first one.
I'd like to add too that the M3 model and a lot of mysteries teachings can be applied with or without peacocking. They are enhanced if you're going to peacock, but I think that the idea of peacocking has been used as an excuse for some of mysteries competitors to say, "Oh, do you want to wear a feather boa? Well, then train with me." The reality is you can go out in a suit and go to a nice cocktail lounge if you're of that caliber, and you can use all of the concepts of the M3 model and apply it to your personality. Peacocking is something that we do because we're teaching this stuff. So if you're in a rock band, you want to be the purist that just, it doesn't take much. It takes a few rings, a few bracelets, and it can enhance your look, quite a bit. But don't think that peacocking is mandatory for to apply mysteries teachings. It's not so.
Yeah, if you can't
That's
do it in jeans and a t-shirt, you can't do it, right? But you do want to get into the party and you want to look like you're one of the party goers.
it's funny. All I wear is jeans, blue jeans, white t-shirt, being like that every single day for many years now, apart from my
Yeah,
wedding.
but if you're going to if you're going to a wedding, if you're going to an event, aren't you going to dress up for the event? I'd hope you
Me
would. If
personally,
I'm
I
inviting
don't.
if I'm if I'm
I'm from the
inviting you to
technology
the Playboy
space.
Mansion,
This
okay?
is like my personal avatar though. Like Mark Zuckerberg, I don't know, Elon Musk maybe, but Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg especially, they did this thing. I don't know if there's a term for it, but the idea is that for improving, reducing decision fatigue, they wear the same thing because it's like the first decision you make in the morning. So I didn't get that idea from them. I actually just happened to be doing it anyway years ago because I was like, my surname is White, so I should be representing the fucking family by wearing a white shirt and white shoes, and I'll just wear blue jeans
All
and it
right.
all makes sense. So that's my
All right.
thing. That's my thing.
Fair enough.
But that brings
Fair
me
enough. It may not
into
get you in
like
the club, though. It may not get you in the club, though. They may say jeans, can't come in. Have you ever been in that situation where you were denied entry?
I don't think so. My
Dreadful.
personally
I
though,
have.
I avoid those kind of high-end clubs though, so I don't specifically go to those in the first place. I have been to places like that before, but that was probably like before I was doing this. But yeah,
Vegas,
literally everywhere
Miami.
I go.
Fair.
Yeah, I'm wearing the same shit 24/7, apart from when I sleep. But speaking of peacocking, for example, I got 4 rings. I've been wearing some of these for years. This one and these two I've been wearing for more than 10 years, and I never really take them off. One's an ace of spades, one's just titanium. There's like a coincidence behind this one. I had a girlfriend years ago in their early 2010s, and she wanted to buy a ring for me. And by pure coincidence, I bought this one, and this is the one she was gonna get for me. So it's like at least I can keep wearing it because we broke up over a
Well,
fucking decade ago.
you have a story to tell with the prop, you know?
Exactly.
It's always nice to have for instance, I have a bracelet that's made out of leather and it wraps around my entire wrist. I don't have it here with me right now. And it's got two leather uh, threads or strings rather, and I will loosen them and pull them out. And in order to open up a set, I'll, yank on the cords so that they're hanging loose off of my bracelet. And I'll go into a set and say, "Are you dexterous?" And they go, "Excuse me? Are you dexterous? Are you good with your hands?" The reason I ask is I place this on my left hand and I can't seem to tie it because I'm left-handed. Would you mind tying that for me? Yeah, a girlfriend of mine made that for me. It's not gorgeous. She's a fashion designer. And I get to, and that's the gambit. That's it. It just initiates the chat with someone by saying, "Are you dexterous? Could you tie that for me, please?" That's it. And while they're tying it, I can run a gambit, a personality conveying gambit. It's a good opener, but it's a part of peacocking where every item should have a story to go with it, you know? The one that I use this with my hat. Let me show you the hat one. There's nothing in the hat. I'm going to make a bird appear. Count of three. One, two, three. Ta-da!
I
It's a
know it's
bird, right? You saw that queued up. But it gives me a gambit that I could run because I'm wearing the hat. If I don't have the hat, I can't run the gambit, right? The hat is actually a lock-in prop too. I can take the hat off, put it on the girl, and a few minutes, into the night, an hour into the night, women will see other women wearing my hat, right? Walking through the crowd with my hat. They see me coming in with the hat, but then I'm not wearing it all night long. It becomes a social prop that I get to put on another girl's head. If she is interested in me, she may wear it longer. If she's not interested, she may take it off and hand it back to me or put it down, right? And I know where I'm at. It's a subtle compliance test to see if she wears my hat or not. I'll say generally they like to wear my hat.
that reminds me, I used to bring
Fuzzy.
I used to bring some crazy shades to the club years ago. I'll be honest, like I kind of used it as a crutch sometimes, but I would have these like big white shades with like obviously they were made of plastic. I got them for like $5 or something. But people thought they
Party.
were like expensive or something. They had big blue things. I was never a show off. I'm fucking redneck. So I'm not like a Gucci belt kind of guy. I'm anti-brand. I just like the
Yeah.
look of it, as simple as that. But sometimes girls would steal them from me, and that just really
Yeah.
annoyed me. I was like, God damn it. I had to get security, and this girl was so mad at me. She was like, No, I didn't. And then the security said, Open up your purse. And there it was, like she's a magician. Oh,
Got
it was
caught.
there. She got caught, and then she hated me for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Well, you're a fucking criminal.
I have had many of my items stolen over the years, but they're inexpensive items like scarves. I've lost scarves in nightclub environments.
There's probably a
Just because
museum.
it gets busy. You get busy in a nightclub environment. There's lots of people. By the end of the night, you've met loads of people, and you can lose track of who you've met earlier in the night, even if they're wearing your stuff. One time I was wearing a top hat and I took it off and put it onto a girl's head. And an ex-girlfriend of mine came in and saw that this girl had my hat on, and she proceeded to bonk her on the head, and the hat went completely over her head, boom, over her face, you know,
Like a cartoon.
Yeah.
like a cartoon. I have a big head.
Yeah.
They will fight for you
I
if you structure the opportunity to be pursued. If you want to be chased, you have to meet two sets to be chased. You have to run two sets and merge them. There's no other way of being pursued unless you do the work.
hmm. I also got this you like I think you like Sweden. This is a Swedish, see if the camera can see it. This is a Swedish Viking arm ring. It's based on a real design found in Gotland in Sweden from 1,000 years ago. Like this is obviously a replica, but it's like molded from the original thing. And it's made of pure silver or like, whatever kind of silver it is. So that's like the only show-offy extent I would go. But I only got this relatively recently in the last few years.
I'm half
Yeah.
Swedish, and this is
Yep.
Vegvisir. It's an Icelandic stave. It's magical. And it means even when you don't know where you're going, you can never lose your way. My girlfriend got it for me. And I have a matching silver one as well.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, what
Already.
we're really discussing here is the idea of in peacocking, of dressing outlandishly. The idea is to wear at least one interesting item, at least one. If you can go for a more unique shirt, by all means. Men have less opportunity to choose unique garments than women do generally, but we can be unique in our avatar selection. And if you wear one interesting item, then if a woman mentions it or asks about it, you know that she's really showing interest. At least interest in what you're wearing. That's a start.
Definitely.
Hey, I really like your style. I really like your shirt, or I really like your coat. I have a fuzzy fur coat, a faux fur coat that I wear out in the winter times here in Toronto. And it serves me well. It doesn't just keep me warm, but it keeps me hugging people. Any girl who wears fur will hug me
Mm.
because I'm fuzzy, because I'm wearing fur.
It's
It's
such a
like the
great
When I
fur
was
club.
when I was in my early 20s and I first read The Mystery Method, the original book, I decided to cut a bleach blonde mohawk. And I was so nervous the first time I went out with that. I wasn't sure what kind of reaction I was going to get. And I was being opened. Women were opening me because of the mohawk right off the open. And it changes your swag a bit. It forces you to step into that bold statement. It's a way to force yours. It's a self-imposed pattern interrupt. If you want to get, since you mentioned Ross Jeffries, if you want to get a little technical, right? And it ties into social violation theory, deviance theory, and sociology. And it's the idea too that we get to dress how we want, you know the people that are dressed like everyone else, no offense to people that want to be super inside the box, but when you dress a little bit more unique, when you're not afraid to step out of the bounds just a bit, that says something to other people. It says something about uh your value, I guess, for lack of a better term, right?
Yeah, your self-worth.
It can also
Your
give information. So, for example, like even though I said I've been wearing white shirts for years, normally I at least have something on the front. So today I'm wearing a Scotia shirt. So for example, a few weeks ago I was at the airport and I was wearing my shirt that just said Nova Scotia with the Canadian flag. And then there was a woman there also flying to Shanghai. And she said, "Oh, damn, I'm from Nova Scotia." And then we just connected right then and there. There were times I wore my shirt and it had Peru on it because that's where my wife is from and my daughter is Peruvian, so half Peruvian. So that got a few Peruvians to point me out and say, "Oh my God, why are you wearing a Peru shirt?" And it's like, "Oh, here's my wife. She's from Lima." Stuff like that. That actually happens just on my basic shirts
in
instead of
Peru,
being a
I
billboard
was
for Nike or something.
fair. In Peru, I was given a shirt that said PUA on it. Someone created PUA shirts, and I wore that proudly. PUA stands for
And
pickup
it
artist.
was a it was a spin-off of
Africa.
It was a spin-off of the NBA logo. So it looked like the NBA, the National Basketball Association logo, but it said PUA.
Fair.
That's funny. Speaking of Peru,